Hi, this is Trevor Conquergood. Welcome to this week's R&K Software Club's video for the week. And our topic for this week is about name drops. Have you ever needed to do a project where there was like the same embroidery with a bunch of different like team names or company names or school names? That's what the name drop tool is all about. And so let's go ahead and pop onto my software and take a look at how to do name drops. So essentially name drops work if you click on your text tool and you create some embroidery. You have obviously the words my text, but this is when the button's right here. It's like a name with a stop sign, and when you click on it, this is where you could go in and add, a series of team names. Just click plus and then put in more text, make that say Trevor, that kind of idea, right? And so but the cool thing about this is if you actually have an embroidery design. And so let's just sort of pause on the name drops for a minute and make a little embroidery design. So if I go into my custom shapes library, there's a baseball bat. And so if you select the baseball bat, to make like a crossed baseball bats, what I could do is copy and paste so that I have two baseball bats, and then maybe just use like mirror image to flip one going the other way, and now you kind of have like the logo cross baseball bats. You could select all of them and click on like standard fill. To make it look a little bit more interesting, I would probably do a couple things like select each baseball bat and kind of set the stitch direction to go directly across from it. And I can also pay attention to things like the exit point and the entry point for the embroidery. And so notice that that's the bat that's on top, and this is the bat that was underneath. And so once again, I'm just going to change the stitch direction, and I'll make this one start and kind of like finish where the other one matches up. And even just to avoid any kind of unnecessary, here in the middle where the two bats are like overlapping each other, well, I'll select the bat that's on top, and there's an option in the right click menu that's called remove overlap stitches. And when I do that, it asks you how much, of an allowed overlap distance could there be. You could put a 0.5 millimeter or 1 millimeter, something like that. Say okay, and so it trims out all the stitching, where the two bats overlap each other. So now you've got like a really perfect cross baseball bats embroidery design, and you're ready to put some text around it. So maybe we would do like an arch text around that, and when you click on the arch text, it makes a circle that kind of goes all the way around the design. Depends on exactly how you want it to look, but you're probably going to make a name. So I'll put my name on there and click apply. And I feel like I'd like it to be kind of like tucked in, more. And I can make it go closer, but really the word is just kind of too big to fit into that space. And so maybe I need to reduce the size, from a 0.79 to a 0.4 or whatever seems to look good. Here's something that's kind of neat. Because you can move the radius to closer or further away, and of course the closer you get it, the tighter it gets, and the further away you get it, the more gradual it is. And then if I like it more gradual, I can still pick it up and bring it down so that it fits in the spot that I want. And then once I have that kind of radius set where I want it, now I can use this black handle to size the letters bigger or smaller kind of within that area. So now we've got the name and it looks really good, and you're kind of happy, except for there's like a whole team to do and you want them all to look kind of the same. So that's when we use the name drops. And notice if I click on the tool for name drops now, it shows you your cross baseball bats, and there's your first name Trevor, and if I click on it, I can get it to preview. And so it shows me what it would look like. But I can also click plus, and if there was going to be other people on my baseball team, I can just sort of like type in their names, and I can preview how they're all going to look. And so, you could go in and do, I'm typing them in all uppercase, but that's certainly not required. If you wanted to do like some upper and lower, that's also fine. So I'll do David, upper and lowercase. And so you can kind of preview it and see like, oh, I do or don't like it, and so when you can click on any of the names and get a preview. And something else that's kind of cool here is if you were setting it up like this and then you thought, all this is perfect, but maybe Robert could use a different text style, like letter style. And so see here where they're all in the same font, but you can click on that. And if you, I guess, kind of double click, it actually gives you like a pop-up list where you could choose a different font. So if you wanted to have one name in Andrew and the rest of them in Anna, you could do that. So see how Robert is going to come up in Andrew font, but Trevor is going to come up in the Anna font. And so you can also use this to adjust things like the size of the text. So if you had a really small name in there and you wanted it to be like, I don't know, Ed, and you really wanted Ed to be, maybe just a little bit bigger than the other ones, then you could change the height in where it says the height box. So come in here and instead of doing 0.5, do a 0.6 for Ed. And so you'll see that it gets kind of just a little bit bigger than the other ones. So that's kind of the cool thing about it. Once you've set up your whole set of team names, when you click save, there's the option here of do not open the files, or just open the first file, or open all of the files. I'm going to say don't bother to open any of the files and go ahead and click save. Now, before I click save, up here is where you determine the design's base name and where it's going to get saved. And notice if I click here, there's like a folder that you can browse. And just on my desktop, I made a folder and called it like number 1 name drops. And so that's where I have a folder, that'll contain all of my files. And you can call it whatever you want. It could be Design 5, or you could call it in here Ball Team, that kind of thing. And so now I've got the base name is going to be Ball Team, and then there'll be like Ball Team number 1, number 2, number 3 for the different names. And so let's go ahead and click Save. And so it takes its time, and you can kind of see the progress, and now it's done. And I can close my name drops tool. And if I was to click on the open button right now and look on my desktop, there's my folder with 1 name drops. And inside of there are all of the different, Ball Team number 0, number 1, and number 2. And so 0 was Trevor, and 1 was Robert, and 2 was Jason, and so on and so forth. So that is a cool tool in the Floriani software when you need to do names for a team. And we hope you enjoyed this week's RNK video of the week. Until next week, have a wonderful day. Thanks so much, and bye for now.